A huge day for our weekly dividend ETFs. We are up $28 just in the weekly account. There is so much going on that we have to talk about, but these weekly paying dividend ETFs, they're doing phenomenally well. I'm pumped. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is week 30. I have made 30 consecutive videos on these weekly paying dividend ETFs to track their progress so you guys can find out which ones actually make the most money. And we do have a new front runner, which is absolutely crazy. And I don't know if you're going to guess which one it is, but I think you'll be happy with the answer once we get to that dividend tracking spreadsheet at the end. What we have to do first is see exactly how far down some of these have fallen and make sure that you guys know there's definitely a lot of risk with these weekly payers. But in other news, we had a phenomenal interview today with Sylvia from Defiance ETFs. And I'm not going to give too much away, but it was a phenomenal time. She is a very, very intelligent person, and she knows an insane amount about the stock market, about ETFs, specifically with options as well. And so I'm really excited for that interview to come out. It's going to take me a little bit to edit, but it was an absolute pleasure having her on the channel for sure. And we'll probably do it again, especially if you guys like it, because I had a really good time, and I hope she did as well. So all that being said, you are in the right place if you like dividends, ETFs, making money in the stock market. So don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you never miss a future update. Let's roll that intro. One really interesting thing I will say about the weekly dividend ETF account, some of these are starting to do a lot better and some are doing worse. We're seeing more of a disparity between that, where the top performers are getting back up to being positive or near positive. Some of them are already positive, and the bottom performers are kind of just sitting. Some are even falling more and more. Like last week to this week, we've seen a few of these fall once again. We have a lot more cash in the account because guess what? I'm poor, and so I'm sending all my money to this account so we can watch it on YouTube together. But hey, that's all part of the process. No complaining. So we have $332.78 in the account in just cash, which is about 19% of all the money in the account. And that is saved up for MAGY. And then we also are going to have MST. That's going to be in the other account. It's going to be in the weekly pay account. Why? Because it uses leverage. So it's a really cool mix. And the interview with Sylvia really showcased what that fund is about and how it works. Very interesting. And in my opinion, it's looking like the future of ETFs because they're tying in a bunch of different stuff from the contracts, the option contracts, to the ability to use leverage. Absolutely insane. So I'm really excited for that. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details. Again, we have so many of these weekly payers now that I am going to have to go quickly. So it's not an hour-long video. So we're going to do a quick recap of each, talk about what's happening in the market as a whole, and then move on. So I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to start with our worst performer in the account, at least, maybe not worst anymore. We are going to find out very, very soon. But one of the worst performers we've seen in the account so far, ticker IWMY. Down 30%, but let me tell you, things are looking up. These have been bouncing. We're going to go to the 1 year. We can also see, a little bit of a bounce down at $22. I was getting nervous. And then it came all the way back up to 24, which is phenomenal. AUM is 106 million. And the dividend yield of 94% has fallen from 110%, which is where it was at one point. And the reasoning behind that is the dividends are staying relatively consistent, but the price is going back up. So that yield is shrinking, which I am okay with. I will say that 1,000 times. I am okay with it because I would rather have less of a dividend yield and more price appreciation, even if there's very little price appreciation, and just consistent dividends so that we can all make money and be happy. The cat, of course, has to make his show because he just loves the clout. But we can also see the last couple of distributions. Everything's a little bit zoomed out. Things look a little bit different. I've changed monitors with the whole new setup and everything. So I'm sorry if it throws you off a little bit. Threw me off quite a bit, but anyways, we're making it. So we had a 28-cent dividend. We had a 33-cent. We had 34-cent just about, and 23.5 cents, which is solid. Again, it's very, very solid. Any money you're making on the dividend when the price is going up is phenomenal, right? If I was yielding 10% a year, but the price was going up 5%, you're still getting a 15% return. And these are not doing that, but we will see. And I will say, again, with the interview, it went super, super well. IWMY, QQQY, and WDTE by Defiance are not going back to monthlies. They are staying weeklies. I don't know. I read it on Twitter. I should have double fact-checked it. I tried to fact-check it. Couldn't find it. That should have given me all the information I need. But some people in the comments as well got fooled just like I did. They're staying weekly. They're staying in the account. So I'm so happy that I didn't sell them. But all in all, we're seeing things pick up. I'm very happy about it, and I'm really hopeful for the next couple of months. Let's go to QQQY. Down 27.6%, but the price is looking good. It's bouncing back up just like IWMY. We have an AUM of 140 million and a dividend yield of 81.1%, which is good. It used to be up in the 90s, so it has come down a little bit. Last couple of distributions, we've seen a lot of green down here with the volume as well. Last couple of distributions, we can see 25 cents, 30 cents, 30 cents, and 18 cents. So the dividends have come down a little bit. All the reasoning behind that is implied volatility, right? The market's looking a little bit greener. People aren't as worried. It's not jumping around as much so far. And that's showing us just better returns, but worse in the dividend department, which I am, again, okay with. So QQQY. One I'll have to watch, but let's check out WDTE, my personal favorite weekly pair from Defiance. Down 21.05%, but WDTE did show up when a lot of the other weeklies were falling. So we're going to cut some extra slack. Lower yield than the others, 52%, and a nice AUM of 64 million, smaller than the others as well. Now things have climbed back up, which I love to see. Same story, a lot less volume with this guy than any of the others too. So last couple of distributions, we had 28.5 cents, we had 35 cents, we had 35 cents, and now back down to 19.5 cents, which is still good, not complaining. I like that the price is going up. That is key, everybody. That is key for me. It did bounce around a little bit this week, but I'm hoping that it rebounds and stays consistent. Let's jump into one of the worst performers in the account, which is actually blowing my mind, by RoundHill, ticker RDTE. It's a never-ending game of me trying to move quickly through these, but also me trying to not talk your ear off, because sometimes I do talk very, very quickly. RDTE is down 25.74%. Not as bad as some of the others. I thought it was worse. It's doing a little bit better, but still something to think about. Wow. The chart is just all over the place. This thing has had a bad couple of months. We can see its AUM of 121.5 million and a dividend yield of sub 30%. It's roughly 35 to 40%, but still, hasn't been trading for the full year yet. A little bit of buying, but not much. We can see 24.6 cents in a dividend. Then we had almost 24 cents again, and 31 cents and 25 cents. So the dividends didn't take as much of a hit. So maybe the Russell 2000 was still moving a lot this week and the implied volatility was higher. Wouldn't be bummed about that. All in all, not terrible. We still are on a climb back into being positive for a lot of these ETFs, but we're making money. We're not rushing. We're taking our time with it for sure. Let's check out one of the fan favorites, ticker QDTE. Only down by 23.6%. It is making a climb once again, which I love to see. Love to see it. Chart's still a bit ugly. We've bounced back. Same story as a lot of these other ones. AUM of 693 million, almost back into that 700 million range, which would be great. It would be a great sign. Dividend yield of 48.6%. And a little bit of buying, nothing too crazy. Last couple of dividends, 18 cents. And then we had 21 cents. And then we had 24 cents. And now we are at 21, almost 22 cents again. So good dividends, good bounce back. Keep going. Do not stop. Keep going upwards. Keep paying out nice dividends. I feel like I'm directing a choir. Keep going. We need to see these things move if they're really going to be good long-term investments, right? If we're really going to hold on to these for a long time or hold these in retirement, I want to see more consistency. And I mean good consistency, upwards consistency, which maybe we'll see from our next ticker XDTE. Down only 17.6%, and it's making a comeback as well. AUM, 364.5 million. This thing doesn't really seem to move around much AUM. I feel like everyone that bought this, they bought it and they're like, I'm just going to do this. I'm not putting more money in. I'm not taking money out. Here's where it's sitting. 33% dividend yield, which is great. Very solid. A lot more consistent. And again, we did see some buying, but nothing too crazy. Last couple of dividends, we had 21.5 cents. We had 23.5 cents. We had 34.3 cents and 25.5 cents. So again, good dividends, good growth. Keep going, keep going. Now let's jump into absolutely one of my favorites by RoundHill, ticker YBTC, and I'll tell you, it's been performing extremely well. You may have a hard time believing me because it is down 7.24%, but trust me, it's doing really solidly. The dividends have been phenomenal. And so, let's check out this chart. It has bounced back quite a bit. In comparison to some of the others, it's moving back up. Why is this? Well, Bitcoin has moved up again. I think it again passed $100,000 per coin, which is absolutely nuts. I keep avoiding buying Bitcoin, but maybe one day I'll pull the trigger and just do it. Anyways, AUM of $176 million and a dividend yield of 46%. Really solid dividends from this one. It is quickly becoming one of my favorites. Now, we've only known it as a weekly payer for a couple months now, so it still is in its infancy. That's important. We don't really know what the tracking is going to do because all of this was not as a weekly payer, and it does make a difference. Couple of dividends, we had 31 cents, we had 44 cents, we had 44.5 cents, and now back down to 23.6 cents. Quite a drop in the dividend, but again, implied volatility is a little bit lower, and Bitcoin only went back up to 6 figures recently, so it probably didn't impact that last dividend, but maybe next dividend we'll see some crazy movement and maybe a nice chunk of change coming our way. The king of consistency, ticker WEEK, which a lot of you say is WEAK, and I don't disagree because the price does nothing and it pays out 8 cents per share and it's $100. So it's not cheap. It's a 4% return every single year. So let's look at AUM up to 100 million AUM. That's very, very interesting. Dividend yield of 0.7%. Not accurate. It's 4% a year. Man, there was one crazy day where 2 people sold and it dropped like crazy. We can see almost 8 cents, almost 8 cents, almost 8 cents, almost 8 cents, but a little more almost than the last. So growth, good dividends, good consistency. Only time will tell. Weak. People love it. People hate it. All in all, I think it's all right. Now on to the YieldMax ETFs, and there's like a million of them now. I mean, there's 16 weekly payers overall, which is pretty insane. GPTY, I'm going top to bottom. The order is different this time, but it's going to be the best way for me to keep track and not forget one because I've done that in the past. Down 18.71%. It's making a comeback. Look at this. Climbing slowly. That's what we like to see. These ones launched at a really bad time in the market. They just did. There's no way around it. I mean, I bought it the first day, and yeah, I mean, look where I'm at. I'm down 18%. So AUM, 20 million, very low, and the dividend yield, not consistent yet. We won't be able to tell, but it's probably in the 40% range. That's my estimate. Last couple of distributions, we had 25.5 cents. We had 24.5 cents, a little more even. Then we had 30 cents, 29 cents, which is great, and then 27 cents. Good dividends, consistent so far, but we need that price to keep going. Let's check in with the worst performer from YieldMax, ticker LFGY, down 27.9%, but this thing pays some insane dividends, which, I mean, I love. If you like just pure income and don't care about NAV erosion, this thing pays out some crazy payments. Price, it's bounced back up nicely. It really has. AUM is almost 83 million and a dividend yield of 22%. It's in like the 80 percentile for dividend, not 80th percentile, 80%, which is insane. Like that's a huge yield, but the price keeps dropping. Last couple of payments, 43 cents, 41 cents, 47 cents, and 75 cents, a massive payment. What is going on? Has it ever paid out 75 cents before? Not recently. Maybe some of the first ones. Yeah, back to the first one. Wow. And I will say all the dividends on this page, when I look at these down here at the bottom, this is per one share. When I show you on the dividend tracking spreadsheet, where we're going to find out what's made money and lost money overall, it's going to be per $100 roughly invested. So just so you know, I always have to say that because it can be really confusing if you don't know that. But LFGY, huge distribution. I can't wait to see how much money it's made total. Now on to some of our new funds. I'm going to do them at the same time because they're very new. Ticker QDTE is up 2.75%. And I can't complain. It doesn't even show when I bought this thing. Not enough zoom. Okay, here we go. It's right here. Duh. It did show it. So we bought at $39.61, and it's actually bounced up, which is phenomenal. Last couple distributions, 33 cents, 32 cents, 33.5 cents, and now 28.5 cents. So good. AUM low at 7 million, and the dividend yield we won't know for quite a while, but can't complain. I've made money on this one. It's one of the top performers technically in the account, so I'm pumped about it. And look at the other new one, RDTE, down 2.66%. We bought right here. We're only down a little bit, not terribly bad. AUM is low, 3 million, and dividend yield 7%. It's probably going to be a pretty high yielder, though, I will say. Now, we can see 37 cents. We see 45, almost 46 cents, then 47 cents, and now 46 cents again. So RDTY is actually giving LFGY a run for its money with those distributions. If it's a really high yielder and has bad NAV erosion, it'll be one to watch for sure to see if you can still make money on this ETF. And then of the new ones, we have XDTE, which is down 16%. Oof. I did put off buying some of these. I honestly just forgot. And then XDTY came out. They all came out at the same time. I didn't move the money in fast enough. I was just lazy. My bad. My bad, guys. If you're mad at me about that, I did a giveaway. I gave away $350 if that helps, you know. It helps. I gave some money away. If you're mad at me for being lazy, hopefully that makes up for it. Then we can also see the AUM of 11.51 million and a dividend yield of 7%. Looks similar to the other new ones, but I'm really curious how these are going to stack up versus the RoundHill fund. So if you don't know, there wasn't a direct correspondent between RoundHill and YieldMax because RoundHill's had QDTE, XDTE, and RDTE this whole time. And so YieldMax said, well, we want some of that market cap. We want to get those management fees. And so now we have XDTY, QDTY, and RDTY. So I will be doing comparison videos once we get a little more time in the market and see how they trade against each other, because that's going to be a really, really big deal on which ones I end up holding. As well as, I mean, RoundHill's doing the same thing. They have MagY coming out. I'll put a video at the end of this one for those of you that are interested in the new weekly payer that I don't even know if it's out yet, but it is the correspondent to YMag. YMag. So they're fighting each other for these market caps. And I don't know, who do you guys like better between RoundHill and YieldMax? I'm genuinely super, super curious, but we got to get back into it. Let's check out ticker ULTY. We are back up into the sixes. Insane news. It's down 4.5%, definitely in the green, I feel, in the account because the dividends have been huge. We've had a lot more buying volume, which is great. AUM 237.4 million and the dividend yield at 165%. Last I checked, it was like 96%, which is still insane, but not 160%. So we can see a couple distributions. We had 8 cents, we had 8.5 cents, we had 8.5 cents, and now we had 9.5 cents, which is a great jump. I saw someone in the comments saying, oh, ULTY, I'm not giving hate to this person, I'm just bad at impressions. This is in my head how they sound. Oh, you like ULTY, but it paid out 8 cents. And I'm like, well, 8 cents can be phenomenal. I mean, the thing costs $6. To get 8 cents a week for $6 is insane. Like, you scale that, not only do you scale it with putting more money in, but scale that with the growth that you can have for buying a bunch of this for a super cheap price. Could be nuts. Could be nuts, just saying. ULTY. People are definitely really liking this one. Let's get into our very, very popular YieldMax funds, YMag and YMax. I'm really curious what you guys think. I'm debating starting a leveraged fund. Does that sound interesting to you guys? Would you like me to throw $1,000 into some leveraged, maybe whether it be monthly payers or just a growth account? Maybe I'll do that on my smaller channel because I think it'd be really cool to see like a MSTR leveraged versus Tesla 2x leverage versus Nvidia 2x leverage, blah, 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 all the way, you know, on whatever popular stocks we like that we think are going to do good long term. Would that be something you guys would watch? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious. Also, YMag. Down 20.6%. These have been taking a beating, unfortunately, but it's bounced back up and we kept lowering our average cost. So if this thing goes back up to 19, which I hope it does, it would be amazing for my Roth IRA if it did. I'd be pumped. We have an AUM of 301 million, a little bit smaller than both QDTE and XDTE, but definitely on the larger side. And then we have a dividend yield of 50.43%. Very, very solid. Very, very, very solid. Last couple distributions, we had 10 cents, 9.5 cents, 9.25, and 10 cents. So good dividends so far. Can't really complain. I did see someone mentioned it in the comments that they kind of redid their structuring of how they're paying out dividends and the yield is going to be lower, which I am okay with. I don't need this thing to be insane. And it looks like they maybe just restructured it to where you're not going to have one crazy low week and 3 higher weeks. Let me know if you guys know about that in the comments. Although last time I read the comments about the Defiance weeklies going back to monthly, that it was wrong. So if you're right, let me know in the comments. Is that fair? I'll double check it this time anyway. But let's jump into YMax. Down 21.63%, but probably still one of the better returners in the account. Believe it or not, because the dividends have been insane. Whew. AUM 710, almost 711 million. Let's go back into the 700 range. I can't really dance, you know, maybe I can, right? I can. Anyways, dividend yield 65.5%. Last couple distributions, we have 13 cents, we have 13.3 cents, we have 13.7 cents, and 17.4 cents. I thought YieldMax was restructuring the dividend too, but that thing's just been picking back up, which I love to see. No complaints there. That's all of them. We made it through. I'm not super out of breath yet, and hopefully you guys are still able to hear me, and my talking isn't just like one long blur. But let's jump into that dividend tracking spreadsheet and see what's made us the most money and what's paid out the most in dividends. We have our first dividends from the month of May. Let's go. IWMY 70 cents, QQQY 54 cents, WDTE 39 cents. Now they're lower, right? All of them have fallen, but implied volatility is down, as we can see kind of around the market. So can't really complain. And again, remember, Defiance is cash secured puts, not covered calls like the rest. So it usually kind of operates in a different format, which is key, because if one's going up, one's going down, you can kind of track it and estimate what's going to happen in a good market versus a bad market. Next, again, this is per $100 invested, not per share. QDTE 65 cents, XDTE 77 cents, and RDTE 76 cents. All lower. It's what we're going to see when we have lower volatility. YMAG 64 cents, higher, kind of surprising. YMAX huge, $1.07, which is phenomenal. So good. So wasn't low for YieldMax, I guess. YBTC 47 cents, very low. Bummer, but we've had a lot of volatility recently, so we'll see. LFGY 94 cents, bounced way back up, which is great. GPTY 59 cents, good, better than average. SDTY, same thing, good, better than average even. Then we have ULTY, absolutely destroying with $2.01. The best payout we have seen from this one since it shifted to weeklies, which is great news. Love to see it. Now remember, ULTY, I had a question, what is the ULTY fund? Well, it's a mix of a bunch of different companies. I know it has Baba in it and a couple other companies. It's not utilities, which was a commonly asked question. And to be honest, it made sense in my head at the beginning too. So don't blame you, but it's not utilities. It's a bunch of different companies. Check it out on the YieldMax website if you want to know more. Week paid out 8 cents. I'm shocked. I'm dumbfounded. I never would have anticipated that, but it's all right. RDTY, 94 cents, a huge, very solid start. And QDTY, 67 cents, very solid again. So these could be good. They could be winners. Only time will tell. Let's check out our dashboard and see how much money we've made already in the month of May. Almost $12, which is phenomenal. And then we can also see we did have $41 in the month of April. I'm hoping we can beat that in the month of May. We also should be able to, because I'm going to be investing more money. So it should be a pretty good month. Only time will tell, though. Now we're going to jump into our positions tab. So everything is updated, including our drip ones, because we're going to have drip on for 3 of these, ULTY, YMAG, and YMAX. And we can see, I mean, I'll zoom in. We can already see what's making money and what's losing money. I did too far. Oopsies. Slide all the way over and boom. Wow. Quite the week. We have a lot more in the green than we normally do. So starting off, IWMY and QQQY are only down 5% each, 5.5%. They are climbing back into it, and this is phenomenal news for everyone in the stock market. We have WDTE almost positive, down only 0.68%. We have QDTE down 5%. We have XDTE down just under 6%. Bit of a bummer for that, but I thought it would do better, but it hasn't, and it doesn't pay as much in dividends, which is why QDTE is outperforming it. But again, WDTE from Defiance. I get a lot of comments, oh, I'm never buying Defiance, never buying Defiance. Some of the Defiance ones are good. Let me tell you, I like this. And it's not just because of the interview today. I've said about WDTE many times before. Now, RDTE down 8%, kind of a bummer. YMAG getting back into the green almost, down 0.4%. YMAX coming out near the top as usual, 2.82% in the green. Love to see it. YBTC, 7.3%, taking home the winner trophy for this last week. LFGY, the worst performer, still down 13.84%. GPTY down 12%, really rough still. SDTY down almost 11%, and it's very new, so I was kind of surprised to see that. ULTY with the massive dividend, it's up 6%, which is insane. That is absolutely phenomenal. WEEK at 0.51%, great, phenomenal. Can't really, go crazy about it. Can't really complain. we have RDTY down 1.62% and QDTY up 2.71%. But what's paid out the most in dividends? We're going to slide all the way over. Most dividends received goes to, of course, YieldMax, which is very consistent in being the top of the dividends paid out. And then in second place, we actually now looks like we have IWMY in second with $25 in dividends, 24 to YMAG, which is great. I wonder if it's going to be able to keep up and retake its position in second place. But all the rest kind of dwindled down. QDTE pays out a lot. QQQY pays out a lot. WDTE doesn't pay out a ton. One thing that's insane is YBTC and LFGY have passed WDTE in dividends paid out. Let me tell you why that's insane. I have had WDTE for all 30 weeks. I think when did I even buy YBTC? A few months ago. So this thing has paid out a ton in dividends in order to surpass WDTE already. And that makes a big difference if you're an income-focused investor, as well as the price has held up. Same thing, LFGY, not really the same thing. Huge amounts in dividends, but a lot more price erosion, which we don't like to see. But both of those pay out a ton in dividends. And now we have ULTY, $12.42. It's only a matter of time before we start seeing some huge dividends that just keep kicking up with the drip. Now, I will say, I'm going to slide back over real quick, and we can see that the last time I bought, or the last video update, we had exactly 17 shares of ULTY. It's now up to 17.27, meaning every month I'm buying a whole extra share, and that is going to continue to compound, and that is the power of compounding, and I think it's going to be a really big deal, especially for the weekly payers. So we have a lot of ground to make up. We're still going to have to dig ourselves out of this hole, but I think we can do it. If you guys are interested in that interview, watch, because it will be dropping sometime next week. And it was absolutely so much fun to talk with Sylvia. When you get a chance, guys, if you ever have the opportunity, it's one thing I never thought YouTube would give me, the opportunity to talk to CEOs that have been doing this for their entire lives. Do it. Learn as much as you can. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your skill level. Learn from these people, because they've made mistakes, of course, but they typically know what they are doing, and they have some great insights for retail investors. And Sylvia is one of those people for sure. I will keep her in my email list, because it's going to be a contact that I use, hopefully not too often to where I annoy her. But I hope you guys enjoyed this update. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want the newest weekly paying dividend ETFs, Moomoo might be the brokerage for you, because it's on there all the time. Use my link down below in the description so that you guys can get the new weekly paying dividend ETFs if you want that weekly income, as well as follow me on Blossom for all the account updates that you won't see here on YouTube. Link down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.